Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Hey! Nice, now it's finally working. So, welcome to our new episode of the DIGITLZ Talk. I'm Chris.
Fabio?
Yeah, and today we will talk about a few of those topics here. Apple released the new Apple MacBook Pro 2020. Microsoft released a few new Surface devices. And
the Surface Go 2.
Yeah, and the Surface Book 3.
Yeah, right.
And your topics?
Yes, then we talk about AMD with the new processors, the new chipset, and what's going on in the future with the chipset and so on. Then we will talk about something called Magic Mirror. It's a fancy mirror where you can have some information like news and stuff, and we will talk about this later. It's the last topic.
Okay, let's jump into the first topic.
Yes.
Yeah, Apple. Apple introduced the 16-inch MacBook Pro last year with the new Magic Keyboard, with the dedicated escape button. The arrow keys are in reverse T, and yeah, it's a good spec bump, the 16-inch. And now Apple has also released the new 13-inch MacBook Pro with this new design.
Yes.
Which means you now also have on your MacBook, let me just check something, okay. Now you're also having your new Magic Keyboard on your 13-inch MacBook Pro, the dedicated escape button, 10th generation Intel processors.
Okay.
They still go to quad-core and you still have no dedicated graphics. It's a good spec bump I think, but it's really expensive. It's really expensive.
Yeah, it starts from 1,200?
No, 1,500, around that. But if you
the
want...
base model?
I think, yeah.
Wow.
$1,500. Francs. I don't know exactly how many dollars. You can look that up maybe.
Yeah.
And the funny part is the base model is the 8th generation of Intel processors. It's not even the 10th.
Yeah.
And you get only 2 Thunderbolt ports. And it's really not the reason why you should buy it, because it's still the old generation. And if you get like the spec'd up model with a terabyte of storage or 2 terabytes of storage with 32 gigabytes of RAM and the best i7, it will cost you around $3,000.
That's a huge price.
Yeah. I mean, if you really want to have a 13-inch MacBook Pro, that's the price you have to pay. For me, myself, I would rather buy the 16-inch MacBook Pro because you get, you don't get the 2 terabytes of storage, only like 1, and only 16 gigabytes of RAM. But you have a dedicated graphics card, you have the 16-inch screen, and it just feels more than a real laptop where you can really get some work done. And the 13-inch MacBook for that price, I don't know.
No, I mean 1,300 for just a base model with an 8th gen processor, it's not the best.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's a 13-inch. With a 13-inch, it's more when you travel, when you read, when you study. It's not for working. And so that price for these specs, I mean, it's quite expensive.
Yes. It's really just, you only have a really small, powerful device, but at the end, if you want to get some work done, you get the 16-inch model. If you just want a basic MacBook 13-inch, then get the MacBook Air.
Yes.
It's cheaper, it's also available with a quad-core.
It makes more sense because it's small, it's not so expensive. You can do all the stuff that you can do on the MacBook Air 13-inch.
Yeah, right.
And if you want to work on this, you buy the 16-inch because I mean, it makes, for me at least, it makes more sense.
Definitely. Yeah. Oh, is there anything else new about it? Let me look it up. No, not really.
It's a little bit disappointing.
Yeah, it's
also
rumors said that it should have a 40.1 inch. There were rumors about that. That would be actually pretty nice, but you still have those thick borders around your MacBook Pro. Yeah.
It's also I like the new keyboard because I hated the touch bar on the previous generation of the MacBook. When you had to press the escape button, sorry, you had to type it 2 times sometimes, because sometimes you are on Spotify and it opens the touch bar for Spotify, so you can manage the volume. That's really nice. But if you want then to press the button escape, you have to type it 2 times. And at the beginning, that when I started to use the MacBook Pro, it was really frustrating. So it's really nice that now there is a dedicated escape button. It makes really more sense. Definitely. I never understood why they have integrated the escape button with the touch bar, because it's just a dumb idea for me. It doesn't make sense.
I mean, it was a clean design, you know. It was like this one bar, and so you could integrate the escape button as well. But the first time I tried it, I was like, cringe.
Yes, the same for me. It was hard to work with that.
Okay, yeah.
Something else about this news also. It feels more just
it's only a spec
upgrade, upgrade, nothing much more. Also, nothing really new about that.
Okay, let me just finish this up here. Beyond that, I think there is really not much more.
Yeah, so we can go to the other topic.
Yeah, let's go to the next topic. The new Surface devices.
Yes, also.
So, Microsoft released, was it this week? I think it was this week, right?
Yeah, this week or last week, but it's...
The new Surface Go 2.
Yes.
The Surface Book 3 and new headphones.
Okay.
But we won't talk about the headphones now.
We won't talk about that.
I think the most interesting part is the Surface Go 2. That's also the device that I found the most information about. I looked for the Surface Book 3. From like almost no reviews, nothing about like.
It's really new, so
I mean, they made a really epic trailer for the Surface Book 3.
I didn't see the trailer.
Yeah. You see
My bad.
But the Surface Go 2 is actually really interesting because it got a spec bump, so you can also now order it with Intel Core M3, which makes it a lot more usable.
Yes, because the problem with the Surface Go, it was really slow. As it was just maybe to send some emails, see some videos on YouTube, but you didn't have the chance to do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Fancy or stuff. I mean, it was really slow, so sometimes it was frustrating to use it. Also, and that was the main problem on the Surface Go. Now there are 3 versions of the Surface Go 2.
Even I think 4. But the base model has the Intel Pentium Gold base processor.
That's the same, maybe a little bit better of the previous one. So
it's a better one.
It's better, but also the Surface Go had a Pentium Gold Epson something, if I remember well. And so yes, it's better, but it's always a little bit up.
So the base model, I still can't recommend the base model. I think if you want to get some work done, at least something somehow, you have to get the M3.
Yeah, but the problem is,
I've seen people who how does it say? Compare. That was the word I was looking for. I've seen people comparing the iPad Pro 11-inch with the Surface Go 2, and I think like, people. The processor within the iPad Pro is like, I don't know, 5 times faster than the Surface Go. It's a really powerful processor.
Yes.
You just don't have this x86 operating system feeling on an iPad Pro. But we were talking about it last week. And you really have to get that basic model with, I think it's 8 gigabytes of RAM and only 128 gigabytes. I have found no option for 256 gigabytes.
Okay.
I mean, at least you can add an micro SD card to it.
Yes.
Which is
back.
But that's the funny part. You have a device and you can't even spec up the storage, and Microsoft makes the storage so expensive, just as Apple, but you can easily expand it to 1 terabyte with a micro SD card, and it costs like, I don't know, 100, 200 euros, around that.
I don't remember the part, but it's
around
it's
that.
expensive.
But you can really bump it up cost efficiently. And why are they only offering? And it's also eMMC storage. It's not even expensive storage like NVMe SSDs.
Yep.
It's just eMMC. And I don't really understand why don't they just offer enough storage. Apple just started with increasing the base storage of a lot of their devices. Like the new MacBook Pro, the new Mac Mini. I think those base models, they usually start at 128 gigabytes.
Yes,
I think it's nuts. It's not enough.
I mean, that's more a tablet.
Yeah.
The Surface Go, you have to see like a tablet and nothing else. Also for that, it was not so good, didn't have so good specs, because the purpose of the Go is just to have something that you can read emails or do the stuff and use it as a tablet. Because if you want actually a computer, you get the Surface Pro, and then you have a computer and you can have more memory and more storage, because it's an actual computer as a tablet.
I know.
But the Surface Go 2, yes, it's more a tablet.
It's running Windows 10.
Yes.
So is it a tablet?
Who knows?
Also 64 gigabytes of storage. After you've done all the updates and everything, how much will be left? 35? 40 gigabytes? And that's why I'm saying it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's really also 64. It's really small storage. Also, I hope.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I hope that there is another partition where Windows is installed, and that 64 that we get is actually the 64 because Windows is 10, 15 gigabytes actually. So if you get this, you have 40 gigabytes that you can use.
But that's what I mean.
And doesn't make sense. So you can actually install very few apps and don't do so much. So for that, it's more actually like a tablet. You have to treat it like a tablet because then you are disappointed if you want to use as a PC. And for that, I mean, if you want the Intel Core M3, that there is a good processor, you have to pay 730 euros. And I mean, it's quite expensive.
I mean, you pay also for the Surface experience. I mean, the device, it's very well made. The screen is very good. Also, it's bigger. We didn't even mention that.
It's bigger than the previous one, but it still has these big bezels on the round. I don't like that.
It got better.
Yes, that's true. Also, the screen is...
The device itself has the same dimensions, but the screen actually got half an inch bigger.
Yes. So the quality is better. Yeah, the front camera is not that fancy.
But it's much better than what you have in the MacBook Pro. Actually,
really?
It's good. Yeah, it's a 5 megapixel camera, I think, around that.
It's better than
the device is like it's quite pretty thick, and you get a good camera in there.
Okay.
So the camera is but it's usable. I mean, in the end, you will use it for Skype. So
yeah. I wanted just to check, make a compare with the other Surface that there are. Yeah, Surface Pro. Okay, 7. Okay, I mean, okay.
The Surface Pro 7, on the other hand, is a device that you can actually really use as your main computer. That's the intended purpose.
There is the base model of the Surface Pro 7. It costs €820,
yeah.
And you get 4GB RAM, 28 gigabytes of memory, and an Intel Core i3. So just with €80 more, you get something that's really better. So I don't see the sense, the meaning of making a Surface Go 2 so expensive. Also, yeah. Also, the nice stuff about the Surface Go is that it's not so expensive.
Yeah.
But then it's really slow. So it depends on how we use it.
I think the base model is okay if you're really not into doing anything. Like if you want to, I mean, you can watch Netflix with it. You can
watch Netflix,
edit documents. Also, we got a comment here of someone. I own a Pro X.
Okay,
it's a Surface Pro X, isn't it? With 128 gigabytes. It is enough. I think it's enough because you can extend it with micro SDs, right? The Pro X. I mean, in general, the Surface devices, they have expandable storage, which makes it less worse.
Here is it.
Can you just
configure?
I just want to see if it has expandable storage. Maybe you can write into the comments whether it's expandable by micro SD.
I don't find any information right now. Oh, here, configuration.
That's what I mean, like expandability. Not that one.
What?
Let me show you.
He's talking about the Surface.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
But I want to see if you can put a micro SD in there. And I can't see that anywhere.
There's a comment. Can you check?
Yeah, you can exchange them. Okay, you can upgrade the storage. Yeah, that's what I've already heard. I don't know. I come from a world. I tried 128 gigabyte devices like twice already, and it was never enough for me. Like after a month, I got to the limit.
Yeah, as I mean, when you have a device like that, you have to use a lot more OneDrive or Google Cloud for all the images, the documents, so you don't have to save anything on the device. So you maybe just have some apps that you use and some stuff. But yeah, also it's not so much, but you can work with it. Also, you have workarounds.
Yes.
It's not the best.
At least if you get the Surface Go to upgrade to 128 gigabytes.
But it needs to be done by an official reseller.
Yeah, it has like a little latch on the back side of it which you can open when there's like the storage unit which can actually be exchanged. This is cool about the Surface Pro X because they introduced a way to have a very thin device with expandable storage, which is really nice. I hate it about the MacBooks and Mac Minis that you can't expand the storage afterwards. You buy it with 128 gigabytes.
That's it.
Well, have fun.
yeah, but that's the philosophy of Apple. So but yeah, there are workarounds, so you can expand it later if you need it.
I would like to test the Surface Go 2. I think it's a nice device with the Core M3.
I mean, yeah. Sure, but it's expensive.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't buy it for the price right now.
Okay, so next topic. AMD has new processors and something about Ryzen 4. Okay, let me switch topic here.
Okay. Yes, also.
Wait, we have not comment. Where the Pro 10, sorry, I'm always saying 10 because of iPhone 10. Where the Pro X has an useless processor, ARM64, the only thing that you can do is Minecraft and that's it. Yes, I've heard about the Pro X not really performing so well in x86 simulators. You can run Photoshop on it.
Yeah.
But have fun with it because it won't run well, really.
Yeah. Okay.
I think the Surface Pro X is really optimized for the applications that Microsoft itself offers. Kind of like Apple. I mean, they have also ARM processors, and their devices work fine because their apps are all developed for this processor. And I think Microsoft tried to go that way.
I don't see the spec here.
You have to go back again.
Oh.
Somewhere on the lower half of the page.
Yeah, check here.
Further. Here. It's like Microsoft SQ1.
Okay.
It's a Snapdragon processor, actually.
Okay.
I think it's pretty good in ARM stuff, but emulate and even only 32-bit. Okay. Yeah. What I said. Photoshop. Okay. Let's go to the next topic then.
Yes. Okay.
So what do you want to tell us about AMD?
As AMD just released 2 new processors. There is the Ryzen 3 3100 and the Ryzen 3 3300X. There are 2 low budget processors. The 3100 costs around $100, so it would be cost 120, 130 euros here. I mean in Europe, not here in Switzerland. And there is the other one, it will cost around 135 without IVA, so it will be around 150, 160, so it's really low price processors. And yes, they're also directly compared to, I will tell about before the chipset problems. Also, okay, no, the chipset is later actually. They compete directly with Intel, also the 3100 competes directly to the i3 100. But the funny part is actually if you check the benchmarks on games and also multimedia, also with Cinebench or also utilities like WinZip and other stuff, benchmark like this. It's really fast and it's better than some i5. So there is the i5 8400. That's a good processor, but it's beaten by this i3 3300X and sometimes also by the other one because it has more cores and it's really fast and it's really good made. For the video games, Intel is still better, so yeah, but the difference is not so much actually.
But it's probably a lot cheaper than Intel's.
Yes, for the moment, yes. But probably Intel will release new i3 with the 10th generation that should compete with this, or i5 with a lower price that should compete with this.
But they're still 10 millimeters.
7 millimeters.
They're already 7.
Yes, it's Ryzen 3. So it's the new Ryzen 3. Just maybe a fun. I have an image that we can show. I sent to you, or
should we show it here? Yeah, I know.
Wait, I can.
No, I can open it here. Wait.
Okay. It just explains a little bit architecture of these 2 processors. There is something called CCD, and it's the core chipset die, and it's where all the cores actually are. But there's a grouping of cores.
Okay, you should zoom in.
Yes, and it's called CCX. Probably stands for CPU Core Complex. And you see on the 3100 we have a CCD, so a die with 2 CCX. And each CCX has 2 cores with 4 threads, also it's 4 cores, 8 threads. Each one has an L3 cache of 8 megabyte. Megabyte, yes. Wow. Then there is the other. Okay. and then there is the other one that has only one CCX. So there are actually two CCX, but one is in use.
Okay, it's okay.
And the other one are 4 cores and 8 threads, and a unified L3 cache. So this Ryzen is better actually for the fact of how that's how the organization is made of this chipset. Because if you have all on one CCX, there is also here is also explained. There is less core-to-core latency.
Yeah, so don't need to communicate to another core.
Yes. So the 4 cores are already communicate on the same CCX. Don't have to have the buses to go to the other CCX. And the cache memory, it's unified. So you have actually 16 megabyte of cache on L3, and that makes it faster. Okay, then. AMD already announced that there is a new chipset. There is the B550. If I check something. Yes, the chipset B550, and it's the cheap.
The motherboard chipset.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the cheap one regarding to the X507. So with this new chipset, there is a problem because they both support PCI Express 4.0 and
0.
Yes, 4.0, and so it's really fast, these lines, but there is a problem that they demand a lot of power. So there is always a heating problem. Okay. And for that, all the X570 that you see on the market always have a fan.
Yeah, I've noticed that more and more motherboards always have a fan on it as well.
So it's ugly, and most people don't like it because they can be loud or can be broken.
Usually they are cheap, and the heatsink construction is very Then how's it called?
Pro? I don't know what you mean. Nice, fancy?
No.
Plastic?
It's custom. Proprietary.
Okay, yeah. Okay, each one is different.
And you can't just replace it with a Noctua fan, which is really.
But also you can open it, and there is a small fan. So
yes, but
you can change the fan actually. Also you have to find them maybe on eBay or somewhere. You can find these fans. But also I've seen a lot of reviews, and actually since they came out, not so much people had problems with the fans, the loudness, or that the fans got broke. So I have a X570, and I didn't notice the rumor because you have other fans on the PC, on the computer. So you have the fans of the graphic card and the how it's called, of the CPU. I don't remember.
The socket?
No, the fan. Alimentator, okay. But you have a lot of more fans, so you don't notice the loudness of that one. And the cool part is that with the B550, you also have PCI Express 4.0. And as I also read that it's not mandatory that you have to have the fans. So it would be nice that you have some motherboards that there is not this problem, but it's not actually something that's real. Also, we have to check if it's really so or not. It was more a rumor that we read in some articles. But yeah, you have all the great stuff about the other chipsets. So you have connections to, you have the PCI 4.0. You can have 2 graphics card. It supports Crossfire and also SLI, because the previous one didn't support SLI.
SLI or SLI?
SLI, yeah.
Is it pronounced SLI?
I always pronounce it SLI, but
I never heard it SLI.
I don't know it's correct, so I'm often wrong with the pronunciation. So SLI, or Crossfire. And yes, then you have the support to USB 3.1 Gen 2. And yes. The problem now is that this chipset supports only the Ryzen from the 3rd generation. So if you have one of the 1st or 2nd generation, you cannot use it on this chipset. And also the new Ryzen that will come out this year or maybe next year, the 4th generation, will work only on the B550, on the X517 and the 6th generation of the chipset. So the other ones, the later ones, are not more supported. And yes, the problem is also I try to figure out why they have made this decision, because actually AMD was always the one that had used the chipset very long, so they supported chipset longer and longer. And the problem is that there are a lot of CPUs for the M4 socket, and it's always more difficult to support all these CPU. Also because there is a BIOS have a memory. It's called I don't remember actually the name. Program memory or something like that. Yeah. And if you have a lot of CPUs, it's become complicated for the BIOS. So sometimes you don't have any memory, so you cannot support other CPUs. And so AMD decide, okay, we cut off the old ones, and we only support from this one, so that we can add a lot more of CPUs, because they have in program to release quite large number of CPUs maybe. So yeah, that's the reason why for this. Okay. Yes, also that's actually what we wanted to talk about.
Okay.
AMD, so the new processors are quite fine for low budget. It's good for multimedia, also gaming, low gaming, and yes.
I've also recently read something of AMD crushing Intel, as they lately do very often.
Finally, the king is back. I was always more into AMD than Intel. Also, I have an AMD CPU, I have the graphic card. So it's not that I don't like Intel and NVIDIA. So Intel makes...
Do you have a tattoo as well?
No, I'm not a fanboy. Also, AMD has lower prices.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Intel is really good, but sometimes it's overpriced. Also for, let's say, 6 years, maybe also 8 years, Intel was better, very better. Also, there was the last good processor that AMD made before the Ryzen was the FX 8500.
But those were getting hot as hell, weren't they?
Yeah, but you had 8 cores, 16 threads.
Yeah, and also a TDP of 400 watts.
Yeah, okay,
I mean, not really, but...
Also, if I want a good PC, I didn't care how much it was the TDP. Also, I mean,
it was, the price was okay.
But the price was really okay. Really okay.
Okay, yeah.
It was really, really fine. Also, they were not expensive, and you can overclock them. So if you had a good mobile, you had the chance to overclock them, and you had really good performances. Also, I have a friend.
Okay.
And he still have the FX 800, 300, and he plays a lot of games. Also, yes, okay, you have problems. It's not the best that you can have now, but it works. Also, if you want to use it, it's still a good CPU. But after that, and they didn't release any CPUs, and Intel was winning.
Yes.
And also NVIDIA.
I mean, they made really good processors while they had their TikTok scheme. You know the TikTok scheme?
No, actually not.
Not the social media TikTok. I meant like what was it? Like they had, for example, oh wait, let me show you.
Yeah.
Intel TikTok model. This is really funny because nowadays TikTok is like, what? Intel on TikTok? Here, I cannot show that graphic right now, But it's like you had 45 millimeters, and then they had their tick, and they went to 33.
Yeah, okay, but
and then they had their TOC, and they were still with 32 nanometers. And then they had their tick again, which they went smaller, and then their TOC where they were reusing and getting more efficient. They had this TikTok, and they were getting more efficient and more efficient and more efficient. Much better than
now they're beaten. I mean,
and now a few years ago they were like, okay, we can't get smaller. We have issues.
So they have 14 millimeter now. No, 10 millimeter.
They have 10 nanometers, yes, but they really struggle with how much they can get.
On 7 millimeter. And AMD came and releases the new CPUs with 7 millimeter without any huge problems.
Yeah.
And also on the server side, AMD is gaining back market.
Yes, definitely.
And that's good. Also, I'm really happy for AMD.
This comment here. All highlight. Yeah, Threadripper is actually really awesome.
Yeah, they're huge.
Isn't the best one with 64 cores, or was it 32?
I think 64. I don't remember actually now.
Threadripper.
Also, I have the Ryzen 9.
It's 64 cores.
Okay, 64.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. I mean, why not?
Yeah, I have the Ryzen 9 3900X. That's.
Oh, you have that. You have that one.
It's not Threadripper. It's.
Oh, 3900.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not Threadripper, but it's.
Yeah, but it has 12 cores, 24 threads, and it's really fun when you work with virtual machines. You can dedicate it. Yeah, okay. Also, I needed this because I use virtual machines to bring towards stuff like that. And the price is actually good. Also, yeah. But I'm still looking forward to the new generation. See what they do with that.
Yes.
Okay.
I would say we go to the next topic, which is not really a news, but a funny thing to discuss about.
Yes. Also,
what a magic mirror can be used for. Some of you may already heard of those mirrors.
It's like in the movies when you see futuristic movies where they have these screens and you have all the information on these screens.
Yeah.
So the cool stuff that's you can use a Raspberry Pi and connect it with a mirror actually. So it's not actually a mirror. You have to connect to a TV, and then there are these mirrors. How they are called? See-through mirror. So you can put a mirror on a TV and you see what on the TV.
The light can pass through the mirror. You know?
Yes.
You have the mirror here and the display here, and the light from the display can go this way.
Yes.
But your light cannot go that way, and it reflects.
Yes.
Also used in stores to catch thieves. You know, you have those in stores as well. Those kind of mirrors.
Yep.
Like people can watch you, but you can't watch them.
Actually, yes, that's this one of mirrors. And so you can connect this Raspberry Pi on a TV, and you put on the TV this mirror, and so you have actually a mirror. You have to build a case. There are many ways how you can do it. And the funny part, you can also put the touch screen. There are some. They are called IR frames, and they are just working with LEDs. So that's not
LEDs.
Yes, that's LED. LEDs.
When you say LED, that's something different.
Okay.
It's LEDs.
LEDs. Okay.
Light emitting diodes.
Yes. LEDs.
Thank you very much.
And so you have just some borders, and on these borders there are a lot of LEDs, and so they're communicating together, and when you put the finger they know exactly where your finger is. Yeah. And so you don't have actually to have something above the mirror. Okay, you don't need to have another screen for the touch, and you can just use these IR frames, and that's really cool, and they work really well.
The Kindle, you know, this ebook reader, the Kindle. There is one version which is actually using that technique.
Okay.
There's a really thin IR array on the bottom and right, for example,
Yep.
and detectors on the other side. And that way it can also detect how you're typing. It's so weird because it's not a touch screen, but it works really well.
Yeah,
It's
they're
like-
really well.
So it's so weird because if you don't know that, you will never notice it.
Yeah. And yes, also, and then there is a huge community that supports this. Also, it's called Magic Mirror. It's like a web browser that you can open on your Raspberry Pi, and you can attach a lot of
So it's already there's already software out there that you can
Yeah.
run on your Raspberry Pi
It's really-
on the website, and you can maintain it from another computer. Or?
Yes, also there are different modules that it's really fast that you can install that. Also, you have Raspberry Pi, you install the needed programs, and then it works. It opens a web browser, and it's just pop up. Then you see the UI that it's displayed on the mirror. Maybe we can also let's see you an image.
Maybe you want to look it up too.
Yes, wait, I send you a picture maybe. You can just search for
Maybe you want to search.
Magic Mirror, yes. So you see here that's that's the TV, then there is the TV, there is the mirror, and that's the case. And that's actually how it's displayed, its UI. Maybe we have a better image.
Where do you want to go? Back?
I don't have the, wow.
No.
I have it on my Android.
Why? We had to go like this on the very left.
Okay. Yeah, you see, it's like something like that. You have okay. Yeah.
It's funny because you have a lot of funny people standing in front of their mirrors. Okay. Yeah.
And as I checked out some modules, and
Oh, the community is huge. There's
yeah,
so
the
many
community,
of them.
there are so many modules. That's fantastic. You have a module for everything, and if recently you built one, and also one of the coolest that they found is group gestures. Also, there are some different ones for gestures, but you have to have a sensor, and you can connect the sensor with the Raspberry Pi, and then you can just move your hand and
You can like swipe the news or something.
so you have a news, you can swipe, or you have maybe also with Spotify it works. Also, I didn't check this, but maybe you have, because you can connect Spotify on this, and then you do just like that, and it changes songs on Spotify, or you can do something like that. It stops the music. So you have gestures.
So you can finally dance in front of your mirror and do something while you. Okay.
Yes. Then there is the module schedule. Okay.
The schedule. Yeah.
Yes.
You can probably connect that to Google or something similar.
Yeah.
Google
Also.
Calendar.
Yes. Also no. It's more like you can schedule when some modules are popping up. So you can say, okay, at this time, also on when you wake up on 7, you can say, okay, I want to see on the mirror this news, or to see what I have to do these days. And when you come back from home, you can say, yeah, let's see Spotify on the mirror. So you can really manage what you want to see on the mirror based on the time, and that's really cool. So you can do a lot of stuff with that. And there is also face recognition. So when you go on the on the mirror, it understands who this is, and it can change then the layout. So if you have two profiles, let's say me and you, if you go in front of the mirror, it's the layout that you want. Okay, so you have notes, news about Apple, Spotify.
Thank you.
And if I go on the mirror, it's a lot of other stuff. I have maybe a website, because you also have
What other stuff? Give me something to mock you.
Android news.
Okay.
So, and you can also have HTML frame, so you can also see always some website. You can connect it with Twitch. You can see always who's online on Twitch and something like that. Yes, then there is also, you can connect it with the Google Feed. There is actually a module, so you can always see the information of your Google Feed on the mirror. So when that's also something that
maybe that would be something to show in the evening and not in the morning.
Yes.
You haven't been active yet. No shit.
Yes, then it's the remote controller, so you can change settings or do stuff, start modules, stop modules through the website or your phone. So it's really manageable and flexible.
Okay.
Yes, there are a lot of modules. There is also modules that tells every day a joke. So if you go on the screen, that's a joke. Or Bible verse. There's also a module when each day is a new Bible verse. If you're into
if you want to get motivated, okay.
So it's a huge community with a huge module. So you can really have fun with that. You just have to have a Raspberry Pi. It doesn't cost so much.
Also, everyone who wants to know what kind of modules there are, we will link those on the website and below this video on YouTube later. Just so you know, there is a huge amount of modules.
Yes, also I can also link the modules on the.
Yeah, just put the link there. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, look how many modules there are.
Link it and show it.
Yes.
So everyone can get impressed.
Okay.
Okay.
I just used my account.
Yeah, now everyone knows your account.
Okay, yeah.
What a bummer.
Yes,
okay. Beyond that, I think the Raspberry Pi is a perfect device for that. I mean, especially the Raspberry Pi 4 is powerful enough to display stuff.
And also, I saw some reviews of the camera module that we talked about last week, and the quality is really good actually.
Okay.
Also, yes, there is no autofocus. You have to focus it manually, but the quality is really good. And then, we know that there is the CS adapter, but there is also CS to other.
Like Sony and Canon adapter?
Yes, actually.
Wow.
So you can connect
the
adapter to another adapter to use other modules. So you have a huge number of variety that you can.
I mean, that's cool. That's really cool.
That's
really funny because I mean, there are some lenses by Canon and Sony and other brands. They are really nice.
So.
I mean, even this lens that you are watching through right now, it's a really basic lens, but it's good enough.
Yes.
And it's so cool if you could really just use this on the Raspberry Pi.
Also, if you want to see what we said about the Raspberry Pi camera module, you can check out the video on YouTube. We also have the link that goes directly on the minute when we start to talk about that.
Just look into the description of the video, there we have all those links.
Yes.
Okay. I think we are through all of our topics.
Yes.
Okay. So again, for everyone who's not there yet, feel free to join our Telegram. Maybe you can post a link there as well.
Yes.
Join our Telegram, check out DIGITLZ.com. I will link it into this. Maybe you can link it there as well. You cannot. Oh, okay. So here we have our Telegram group, and we also have our website.
Oh, yes. Wait.
Okay.
You have to change the layout of the keyboard. Okay.
Oh damn it! Screw you. Can you link it, please?
Here. Okay.
It's still English.
No, it's German keyboard.
Okay.
The English keyboard is way better for programmers, but they don't want to accept that.
I'm not used to it. Okay, that's a website where you can also find all the information that we were talking about. Okay, so that's it for today.
That's it for today, and we will see you hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully next week again at the
Yes.
same time. Thank you very much for your feedback. If you have any written feedback, we have also this new suggestion
If
box.
if you scroll back on Twitch,
Yeah, if you go
Scroll
down on Twitch, yeah,
back,
you can find a little suggestions and feedback box.
yes, we need them so we can improve. And yes.
We will try to be better and better. Okay, so thank you everyone who
Yes.
joined today, and hope to see you next week.
Yes.
Oh,
Ciao, ciao.
oh wait,
Wait.
we have a comment.
Giveaway.
Giveaway?
We will check for the giveaways when we be.
Yeah, at some points we will have giveaways. Give us some time. Thank you very much.
Ciao, Pepsi.
So, bye everyone.
Bye bye.